Hello everyone. Welcome to today's Periscope. Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome Ms. Jahida. Welcome everyone who is here today for our juicy topic of multiple orgasms that came straight from one of you all. So I hope that person is joining us today for this scope, because this one goes out to you who requested this. So I want to talk about multiple orgasms. Is it a real thing? Is it not a real thing? And then give some tips if you are trying to achieve multiple orgasms. So let's get started. What is your zodiac sign? I am an Aquarius. My birthday is actually coming up in a few weeks on February 13th. So that tells you a little bit more about me. What's your zodiac sign? So I see a lot of people are just joining. Scorpio. Awesome. I love Scorpios. When's your birthday? And everyone, click on the little Perry person and share with your followers so that we can get as many people on here as possible. November 4th. Awesome. Good day. Thank you, Unique21, for inviting your followers. What's your name, Unique? Let me know your name. Forever Loyal. Thank you for joining and being loyal here to my Periscopes. Thank you all for being here. So today's Perry is Unique. That's your name. Okay, awesome. Today's scope is on multiple orgasms, and I thought this was a really good question yesterday and decided to dedicate today's scope to it because, a lot of people are not aware that multiple orgasms are... She invited you. Yay! I'm so happy she invited you. So a lot of people aren't aware that multiple orgasms are a thing and that it can happen, right? And here is a myth buster. It can happen for both men and women. It is much more uncommon for men than for women. However, it is still possible. So if you are a guy out there trying to achieve multiple orgasms, do not worry, it is possible. It just takes practice. And that is with anyone, right? With both women and men. The key thing here is it's going to take practice. It's not just going to be like this thing that happens out of nowhere. That's just not how it works. Okay, so I have a couple of keys that I want to share. So first, it is possible. It's possible for both men and women. However, another kind of myth buster that I want to go here with is that it's not just going to be like you orgasm and then you orgasm and then and there's no break. There actually is a small break in between the orgasms. So it's not like it's just going to be a consecutive orgasm, right? Or it just keeps going and going. There is a break for both men and women. Okay, so for men, it does look a little bit different in that speak Spanish. I will be doing Spanish in 30 minutes at 4:30. I go on in Spanish. So Pablo, stay tuned at 4:30 for Spanish. How do you know you're having an orgasm during sex? For a man, orgasm happens right before ejaculation, right? So usually, we assume that ejaculation is orgasm for men, but it's not. Ejaculation actually happens a few seconds after orgasm does. And you can actually have an orgasm as a man without having ejaculation. What about women? So for women, a lot of times your pelvic muscles, your muscles in your vagina and in your pelvic floor are actually contracting. So that's a good sign that you're having an orgasm. You also just reach a point of uber sensitivity, hypersensitivity in your genitals. Hello, Scott. Welcome, my love. I hope you took a nice nap after working such a long shift last night. I did great. Awesome to hear. Thank you for joining me again. So that is how you can tell as a woman if you're having an orgasm, is really those contractions are going to happen and you become hypersensitive right after. So with that point of hypersensitivity, I want to go into the keys and then some of the tips that I have for you all. And I have some notes just because it's a really intense topic and I want to give you all really good content. So if I look down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. Okay, so the first thing is being open-minded, right? That's like the biggest thing. ¿Hablas español? Sí, españoles a las 4:30. La plática en español. So Spanish is at 4:30. Right now I'm doing it in English. Okay. So the first thing is open-mindedness, right? We have to be open-minded. If we're not being open-minded, so much chatter, especially for women, happens during sex. We can really get caught up in the mind, and we want to tune out of that. We want to be fully present, fully engaged, and have an open mind that it can happen. And mindset is so important with multiple orgasms. You have to have a you can do it attitude, right? We are built for this, right? Women especially are built to be able to have multiple orgasms. How freaking amazing is that? Parlez-vous français? No. Je m'appelle Denise. That's all I know. Sorry. I will learn French one day. I promise. So that's the first thing, is really having the attitude, that mindset that you can do it, that it can be achieved, and that it's there. It's going to happen, right? So manifesting, taking some of the mindset training that I talk about in my earlier scopes of really attracting what you want. So, be grateful for it as if it already has happened. And that really supports that mindset. The second thing is being open to experimenting, right? So a lot of this is trial and error. It is really just playing around and not having all this pressure. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that I have seen with both clients and anyone that I've worked with and has come to me for guidance, is that they are pressuring themselves so much, putting so much pressure on the end result and not enjoying the ride, the journey. So really just be curious, be experimental, take this as a trial and error, and really know that it's not going to happen necessarily the first time. If it does, amazing, congratulations. But it does take some trial and error. What do you do, Jean? Jean, I am a sexuality expert here on Periscope, and I help individuals and couples through coaching, workshops, and card readings. I think that comes... Sorry, John, I missed your message. Feel free to put it back up, and I will address it if it was a question. Thank you all for being so active here. And feel free as I talk about this, if you do have questions, throw them up. I might not be able to answer all of them, but I will answer the ones that I can answer on here. So thank you all for being here and being so interactive. I love it. So another thing that is super duper important is for both anyone, right? So if you're trying to have a multiple orgasm on yourself, on your own, that is something that is achievable. You don't need to have a partner to achieve multiple orgasm, but you want to know your body. That's really important. You want to know what you like, what you dislike, what really gets you turned on. Lady Barbara, hello, my love. What really turns you on. That's really important. right? When we know exactly what turns us on, it's so much easier to communicate that to someone else and to really use that to our benefit. And what I mean by that is really using it when we need it to get us to that climax, right? So for women, it's all about a build-up, right? It just builds up and builds up and builds up until there's like that volcanic explosion. That's why I put the volcano emoji on today's Periscope, because I was like, that is the perfect image of an orgasm, right? It's something that like builds up from the bottom up and just like, right? Okay. So another big thing, sexual tension, the passion, it has to be there. Whether that's with yourself or with your partner, there needs to be that passion. These are keys to creating an environment, the atmosphere for multiple orgasms. So these are very, very important to take into consideration. And then being vulnerable, right? We have to be vulnerable with someone. To express ourselves, to say exactly what is going on for us, both in the mind and in the body, right? In order to really achieve multiple orgasm, we have to be in a lot of communication. I think I found someone that I have great sexual tension with. Yay! Yes, thank you for sharing, Scott. That's amazing. You know, not everyone you have intercourse with will have a lot of tension, but it's possible. What's your Tumblr name? I'm not on Tumblr. I mean, I have an account. I think it's Sexuality Power or Sexuality Expert. I go by one of those two all the time. But I don't really use it. I hope to be using it more this year. But definitely go on my website, sexualitypower.com, and click on the contact tab. And there you can see all of my contact information. What are you preaching? Just tuned in. I'm not preaching. I am, well, maybe a little bit. We're talking about sexuality, and we're talking about multiple orgasms. We're not selling anything. We are just exploring the topic of multiple orgasms with our community here. I'm giving some tips and some keys to really achieving it, and feel free to ask any questions as I go along. Thank you for joining. Okay, so what else do we need, right? How to get that? What does it take, right? So all of these things are necessary to create the perfect environment, right? And one of the big things in creating the perfect environment is foreplay. Like, I cannot say enough for both male multiple orgasm and female multiple orgasm how important foreplay is. It is uber important to engage in foreplay, a lot of it. Okay, so let's get down to the practice. The first tip that I have in terms of practice is masturbation. That is one of the best ways to practice for both guys and girls. For girls, it really allows you to experience what orgasm is like, and women are more likely to experience orgasm through clitoral stimulation and on their own than with a partner. So that is really key for you to get to know your body and experience orgasm on your own, and then you can really bring in your partner and have that experience with them. Not too much porn though, right? Porn is good. The only thing that I will say about porn is that it's not real. So a lot of times people watch porn and they want to replicate what's happening in the porn scene, and that's not necessarily what your partner is going to enjoy. It's not necessarily actually enjoyable even for the porn stars. So, take porn with a grain of salt. It is meant to be fantasy, right? It is meant to just be mind stimulation. But if you take it to the extreme and overconsume porn, it can really cause some unrealistic expectations. You mean that Don't smack them in the face with my dong. Some women like to be smacked in the face with your dong, right? Like, some women do enjoy that. Now, coming at them at like 50 miles an hour with your dong might not be what they enjoy, more like a little slap in the face. But really, it's ask. You know, that's really what it's all about. If we really learn to communicate and ask questions and have that sense of curiosity. Curiosity is so important in the bedroom. You can really learn a lot about what someone likes, what someone doesn't like, and take out, you know, the suspense. Sometimes we live in this suspense because it's like, oh, I don't know what they like. And it's like, well, if you just ask the questions, then it wouldn't be so intimidating sometimes. So those are my tips around porn and asking questions. So with the practice, masturbation is really important. And here is why it's important for guys especially, because with male ejaculation, right? So orgasm is one thing, ejaculation is another. But usually orgasm and ejaculation happens together for men, right? You orgasm and then like 2 seconds after you ejaculate. And here is the 411. You can actually orgasm and not ejaculate. And in order for you to do that, you have to have a lot of control, right? So in order to gain that control, the key thing is to practice, right? So you want to practice getting up to orgasm and stopping before ejaculation. And that might take a couple hundred tries, right? A couple dozen for some guys, maybe more than 100 for some others. But go with your pace, go with what feels good to you. You know, there's no standard of how many times you got to do this to get it down. I practice at least once a day, sometimes twice. Great. Thank you for sharing. Right? So you want to practice getting to orgasm and not ejaculating. Right? And if you do ejaculate, hey, no harm done, right? Don't belittle yourself or be hard on yourself because it happens. This is all practice, and the journey is just as pleasurable as the final experience. Twice a day, I've jacked it twice since I've been here. Okay. TMI. Mina, is that you? I'm not sure who Mina is. Okay. So, another tip for women, it is super, super, super important to have arousal, right? And arousal comes with foreplay. So the longer you are in foreplay, the more arousal there is. And for women, because we are built to have multiple orgasms, it's very, you know, there is no refractionary period for women. And that's what kind of, when ejaculation happens for men, you need that refractionary period, which is what prevents us from being able to have a second orgasm right away. For women, that's not the case. However, there is that hypersensitivity that occurs right after orgasm. So the key for multiple orgasms with women is to redirect the attention away from the clitoris, right? So I recommend the first orgasm be focused on the clitoral orgasm, and then the second orgasm can be focus more on a G-spot orgasm. And in order to make that transition, you want to focus on kissing, caressing, maybe some nipple play, some passionate kissing. We talked about the art of kissing yesterday. These are things that can really keep that arousal going, getting more elevated, but at the same time, give her enough time to kind of cool down from that hypersensitivity around her vulva and her clitoris. I did not read that last comment. Sorry. Okay. So those are my tips. One last tip that I want to give to you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the comments and the compliments and the hearts. So the last tip I want to give you all is the importance of breathing. And if you watch my morning motivations, morning motivations, I talk a lot about meditation. How do I talk a girl into doing anal? Well, you can't really talk anyone into anything. They have to be interested in it. So you can propose it in an enticing way, and I can do a parry on that as well. So I can talk about really how to have that conversation with someone. You can't talk her in, either she wants to or not. Are these tips for men or women? They are for both. Should I put a finger in her butt? No. That is the farthest thing from what you should be doing. That will actually really just damage the trust in that relationship. So breath work is the last tip that I have for you all, and the importance of breath work in having multiple orgasms. Really having rhythmic breathing, like meditative breathing, is really, really important. And having slow, deep breaths, right? Going with the rhythm of sex, right? So inhale in, exhale out, right? And actually matching that breathing with your partner is really important. And that can actually help us bring more oxygen into the brain, more oxygen into our body, which allows us to have a heightened experience of orgasm. So that is the final tip I have in terms of achieving multiple orgasms. I hope that this scope was helpful for you all. Go out there, explore. What about eye contact? Eye contact is very important as well. That is part of building that tension, that passion. Eye contact does help invigorate the soul and kind of connect you deeper with your partner. And when you're breathing, if you have eye contact, you're really able to connect more. And talking about eye contact, here is the position of the day. I hope you guys can see it. Yes, you can. Okay, that is the position of the day. And it is a side position. Eye contact with your lover. And the key to this position is starting in missionary, penetrating, and then going on the side while the penetration is still happening. So keeping it in there, then shifting, and here is where a lot of the work lies on the stronger partner, right? The more, usually it's the man, but doesn't have to be. And the really great thing about this position is that it does allow for eye contact, for communication to happen more easily. You're both on your sides, so there's a lot more closeness and proximity with your faces, and that is one of the positions that really helps create intimacy. So those are my tips and the position for today. I think I am close to having to hop on the Spanish. So if you have any questions, feel free to tweet them at me and I will happily respond. Check out my website, sexualitypower.com, where I am offering coaching, individual, powerful heart tarot readings, and much more this year. Thank you all. Have a passionate night. Bye.